A chill settled over Northern California. The air was thick with an unsettling mist, as if the very atmosphere was warning of the darkness to come. It began subtly, a creeping unease that wormed its way into the hearts of its residents. Something was different, darker. The once familiar streets now seemed cloaked in shadows, and the people could feel an invisible weight pressing down on them. The year was 1968, a time of change and turbulence across the nation. But in Northern California, a different kind of storm was brewing. Little did they know a nightmare was about to unfold, one that would haunt their memories for years to come. A nightmare that would leave a trail of blood and terror in its wake. The streets that once echoed with laughter and life would soon be stained with fear and death. A nightmare they would come to know as the Zodiac. This shadowy figure, elusive and enigmatic, would become the embodiment of their deepest fears. Gone were the carefree days of summer, replaced by a gnawing fear that gripped the community. Parents kept their children close, and the once vibrant parks and beaches now lay eerily silent. Whispers of a shadowy figure, a killer stalking the night, spread like wildfire. No one was safe. The fear was palpable, and every shadow seemed to hide a potential threat. The police were baffled, the public terrified. The Zodiac had arrived, and with him, he brought a reign of terror that would leave an indelible mark on the history of Northern California. December 20th, 1968. A secluded lover's lane on Lake Herman Road became a scene of unimaginable horror. Young love was extinguished in a brutal instant. High school sweethearts Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were found lifeless in their car, shot at close range. The tranquility of the night shattered by the deafening roar of gunfire. Now, only silence remained. The killer had vanished into the night, leaving behind a chilling message. This was only the beginning. 5 months later, the killer struck again. July 4th, 1969. Another couple, Darlene Ferrin and Mike Magot, parked at the Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. The night air, thick with the smell of gunpowder, replaced the sweet scent of fireworks. Darlene was killed instantly. Mike, though seriously wounded, miraculously survived the attack. This time the killer didn't just vanish. He contacted the police, his voice a chilling whisper, claiming responsibility for the murders. The Zodiac had made his presence known. August 1st, 1969. A date that would mark the beginning of a chilling chapter in American crime history. A wave of terror swept through Northern California as 3 newspapers received handwritten letters. These letters were not just any letters, they were from a man who would soon be known as the Zodiac Killer. Each bore a chilling message, a cryptic symbol, and a chilling claim responsibility for the murders at Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs. The letters were filled with taunts and threats designed to instill fear and panic. The letters contained ciphers, puzzles the killer claimed held the key to his identity. These ciphers were complex and baffling, challenging the brightest minds to decode them. A terrifying game of cat and mouse had begun. The Zodiac seemed to relish the attention, playing with the authorities and the public alike. The Zodiac demanded his letters be printed on the front page of the newspapers, threatening further bloodshed if his demands weren't met. The media was caught in a moral dilemma, torn between public safety and not giving in to the killer's demands. The public was captivated and horrified. Every new letter, every new threat only deepened the sense of dread. The Zodiac's reign of terror had begun, and Northern California would never be the same. The ciphers sent chills down the spines of investigators. Each symbol, each letter was a piece of a dark puzzle that seemed almost impossible to solve. The weight of the unknown pressed heavily on their shoulders. Days turned into sleepless nights as they desperately worked to crack the codes, hoping to glean any clue to the killer's identity. The room was filled with the scent of stale coffee and the sound of rustling papers, a testament to their relentless pursuit. One of the ciphers, a 408-character puzzle, was eventually solved by a schoolteacher and his wife. Their breakthrough was a beacon of hope in an otherwise grim investigation, showcasing the power of determination and teamwork. The message, chilling in its simplicity, sent shockwaves through the nation. News outlets buzzed with the revelation, and the public's fear grew palpable. The words were more than just a confession, they were a taunt, a challenge to the authorities. "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The stark declaration was a window into the twisted mind of the Zodiac, a glimpse of the darkness that drove him. The words jumped off the page, a stark reminder of the depravity they were dealing with. The Zodiac wasn't finished. His message was clear. The terror was far from over. He promised more murders, claiming to be collecting slaves for the afterlife. The threat loomed large, casting a shadow over the city. The hunt for the Zodiac was more urgent than ever as the clock ticked and the fear of another attack grew. The manhunt for the Zodiac intensified. Police departments across Northern California worked tirelessly, following every lead, every whisper, every fleeting shadow. The pressure mounted, the public's fear palpable. Despite their efforts, the Zodiac remained elusive. He continued to taunt authorities, sending more letters, more ciphers, each one a sinister reminder of their inability to catch him. He reveled in the attention, the fear he instilled, fueling his twisted game. Years passed, and the trail ran cold. The Zodiac, once a constant presence in the headlines, faded into a chilling memory. The fear, however, lingered. The unsolved case became a haunting reminder of the darkness that had gripped Northern California. The victims, David Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen, Darlene Ferrin, their lives cut tragically short. Mike Mageau, forever scarred by that fateful night. Their stories a somber reminder of the killer's brutality and the enduring mystery he left behind. In 1974, the Zodiac seemingly vanished. His letters ceased, the taunts silenced. Had he grown tired of his twisted game? Had he met an untimely end? Or was he lurking in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to resurface? The mystery of the Zodiac remained. Some believe he was responsible for other unsolved murders, his reign of terror extending far beyond the confirmed cases. The lack of answers only fueled speculation, turning the case into fertile ground for theories and armchair detectives. Decades later, the identity of the Zodiac killer remains a haunting mystery. Was he a cunning mastermind who vanished into thin air? Or a disturbed individual leading an unassuming life, his dark secret hidden from the world? The case continues to fascinate and frustrate, inspiring books, documentaries, and countless theories. Despite advancements in forensic technology and countless hours dedicated to cracking the case, the Zodiac continues to elude justice. His true identity, lost in the labyrinth of time, the question remains, who was the Zodiac?